Yes.
It makes me remember the Vav Katan because Luria speaks that the sentence is that you know that the Pharaoh doesn't assess the Mohin Gadlut. He only
Yes.
says the Movin Kadnuta. And
True.
when I when I read the Mohin Kadnuta, came to me that is the same idea about the Vav Katan, is the one who do not have access to the three superior spheres, maybe
Excellent.
to the
Excellent.
right.
Yes.
Just this that came.
This is excellent. This is just excellent. Thank you for sharing. And good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good night. We are here on a stream on YouTube and Discord. Thank you for the question, Fernando. This is right what you're saying. Thank you. Good night, Philippe. Good morning, Rodrigo.
Good morning,
Good
Eti.
afternoon,
Shalom,
Eddie.
shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. How do you do?
Fine, how are you?
Good. Good to be here with you. I'm very happy to be here with you. More than you can imagine,
I'm
even.
glad you still can with everything that's happening,
Thank you.
or that you
Rodrigo,
still do.
thank you. Rodrigo, how do you do this morning?
Oh, Eti, I'm very, very fine and very happy to be here. Yesterday, before I sleep, I have the opportunity to back to the whiteboard and to our classes, and I try to read um, the Zohar, this part of the Zohar that we will discuss today. And and if I understood well, there is something about the arouse the 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 nar, the flame of an nar or something like that. And and I noted that the says of Zohar talk about that it's necessary first that the flame below uh, arouse, then the flame above will attach it to this flame. And so I'm very excited to talk with you about this because I could review our class and try to understood better what we discuss here. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're here at the whiteboard. We continue to read the article that we have started yesterday. I will focus here, put the letter. We shall continue with letter Yodchet. I Shall I summarize what we discussed yesterday, or we can continue? How do you feel? Shall I summarize it? Would you like to summarize for us what we started yesterday?
Eti, you know that my English is not so good. So if Philip or Fernando could summarize, but I believe that I understood well our class yesterday. If Philip or Fernando could summarize, because I believe that they are better than me in this thing.
It's
Thank you.
1 o'clock in the morning here in Australia, if one of yous would like to summarize.
Yes. Please summarize. Joanne says shalom. Shalom, friends. Please summarize. I haven't had the time to listen to yesterday's lesson yet. Fernando, would you like to summarize?
I will try it, but
Yes.
okay, let's try it. Yesterday we started reading Genesis chapter 11 and 12 that speaks about the episode that Terah took Abraham, Lot, and Sarai to leave the Ur of Chaldeus and to go to the land of Canaan. And Genesis chapter 12 that speaks of the Lech-Lecha, the, the, the conversation between God and Abraham to, to leave the father's house and country. And we start reading the book of Zohar, and the book of Zohar brings a conversation about the expression and took them uh, that is written in the Genesis chapter 11, because when we see that that terá is living, the proper conjugation of the verb living, it was living him, ato, must be written, but in the book of the Bible is written atem, living with them. So the sages start speaking about this yes, vaitsu atem, right? It speaks about this expression because technically would be vaitsu ato.
Yes.
And we saw that atem has the same structure as Adam and Emet. Is 144, and we saw that is related with this movement that is needed below to attract the supernal realm. So we have here a mystery that is the desire when we long for something here in this material realm. It brings the spirit. So Eti brought the ideas that when we long for to read a book, or when we long to find something and we put ourselves in movement, we attract the energy to the vessel to fulfill this desire. I think this is a resume. I know that we have a lot more to say about this, but I don't know if I could make a summary about some ideas from yesterday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. On the behalf of all of us, thank you so much. Now,
Thank you.
now we shall move and continue to read Ot Yod Chet, letter or mark 18 from the Zohar, Zohar Parashat Lech-Lecha, and we shall see. Uvesha'ata denafku. This is Aramaic in bold letters. I read directly from Hasulam. Uvesha'ata denafku. Thank you, Fernando. Johan is saying. Thank you, Fernando, on the behalf of Johan. Shalom, shalom, Venus. Shalom, shalom, Venus. Uvesha'ata denafku. Please pay attention to the close relation between Aramaic and Hebrew. Sha'a is hour in English, and hour is time. Sha'a, this is in Hebrew. Pay attention to the sound. It's about vocals all the time. Uvesha'ata, and in the time. Sha'ata, sha'a in Hebrew is hour. Sha'ata, yes. This is hour or time in Aramaic. Hour or time in Aramaic. ובשעת דנפקו, נפקו יצאו, להפיק, to take, to produce, and in the hour and in the time that they went out, ובשעה שיצאו, meaning all of them went out from אור Casdim, מה כתוב בהם, what is written in them. And here we see a flag, a green flag. This is a quote with bold letters. ללכת ארצה כנען, to walk for the direction ארצה. This is also a structure in Hebrew. We are familiar with the word Eretz. Eretz. It's a country or a land or a will. This is Eretz. Land or will. This is the high definition of Eretz. But with additional hey at the end, Arza, it means towards the direction. Eretz, let's say it's a land in English. Eretz Canaan is the land of Canaan, but Arza Canaan, meaning to the direction, the hey is a direction. Arza Canaan. Let's say there's a name Yerushalayim. This is the name Jerusalem. Yerushalayim. But if a person stays in Haifa, this is the north part, and he wants to go to Jerusalem towards the direction of Jerusalem, we say Yerushalayima. Yerushalayima. This is the direction of Jerusalem. The hey at the end of a name of a place is always shows the direction. Let's say if a person in ancient times lived in Israel or the Holy Land and he wants to walk to Bavel. Bavel is Babel. But if a person wants to go to Bavel, he says, I walk Bavela, towards the direction of, in English we use many words to say towards the direction of Bavel or to Bavel. But here one word, Bavela, the hay is a vessel, and also note the direction. So here, let's return to the text. ובשעה שיצאו, and in the time or in the hour that they went out from Or Casdim, מה כתוב בהם? What is written in them? ללכת ארצה כנען. To walk towards the direction of Canaan. כי רצונם, please pay attention to the relation between ארצה, Canaan, and כי רצונם, because their will. Here, ארצה, רצונם. Please pay attention, their will, and ארצה, and רצון. כי רצונם, because their will was to walk there. מכאן למדנו, from here we have learned, שכל מי שבא לטהר, that everyone who comes to purify, לטהר is to purify, meaning to rise in the spiritual realm or steps. לטהר, it's very close to Zohar. Please pay attention. We have Tohar, to purify, and Zohar. Please pay attention. So, from here we have learned שכל מי שבא לטהר, that everyone who comes to purify, עוזרים לו, he gets help. בוא וראה, come and see, שכך הוא, that it is so. כי כיוון שכתוב, because it is written, ללכת ארצה כנען, to walk to the direction of Canaan, מיד כתוב, immediately it's written, a flag, quotation, ויאמר השם אל אברהם. And the Lord, the name, told Abraham, Lech-Lecha, and to continue the verse. Do we understand what is written here so far?
So far, so good. It is great. It is so good to follow this reading. Thank you.
Thank you. ומטרם שנתעורר, terem is before. Terem is before. ומטרם שנתעורר, and before he is awakened מעצמו, from himself, מתחילה, from the beginning, ללכת, to walk, לארץ כנען, to the land of Canaan. לא כתוב לך לך, it is not written לך לך, meaning go for yourself. הרי, meaning, שהבא הוא מתעורר מעצמו מלמטה, meaning the one who comes and awake from himself, from below, מלמטה, מסייעים לו, he is being given assistance, מסייעים לו, מלמעלה. From above, he gets an assistance. אבל בלי התערותא דלתתא, but without the awakening of below, or from, I will explain also what is below, because it's not a building, it's something mental. I will explain it. But without awakening of below, there is no awakening from above. Did we understand?
That's like saying
Yes?
to be comfortable in the material will get you your next stage from above. The actions it provides and the positivities that it provides, synchronicities, etc.
Thank you. What is below and what is above?
It
What-
is interesting
Yes.
because just as what Philip says, I'm reading that below is deletata.
Mm-hmm.
That is the same root as dalet or dalut or
Mhm.
poor, or
True.
someone that is poor, or a door. You need to pass the door, or the pure-minded, poor-minded.
Yes.
And the one who passes this poor-minded, he receives the help from above. It seems like Elion from the higher.
This
from
is
the-
excellent. Yes, yes. Very good. Very good. The letata is like a delet, like a door, like dala, like poor. Very good. Very good. Like delta, like the dalet without the foot of the hay, without the covenant of Yesod. Yes. But there is
Wow.
another. Yes.
It is Malkut.
Yes, excellent.
Malkut.
Yes, yes. אבל בלי התערותא דלתתא, without the awakening of the below, of the lower, there is no awakening of the upper. And I would like to open another door for this sentence. Deletata is below, and also this it might consider as this current moment. So without the awakening of this moment, there is no awakening of the upper that will bring the coming world. So below Deletata and Deleela, Deletata can be now with our mindset before the illumination of the next moment. But we have to be awakened in this time in Malchut, that we are poor-minded and to walk for something. This is the vessel, Arza. And here's the vessel, here's the hay, Arza. To the direction, because once he says, Bo'u re'eh, come and see, that it is so. כי כיוון שכתוב, because it is written, to walk towards Canaan, Arza, Canaan, to the direction, this is the awakening of the below. The letata, like you said, the delet, the dalet, the poor, Immediately it's written in the next verse, Vayomer Hashem el Avram. But we need to have, so to speak, the friction from below. Like we take a match and we, how do you say, schleife it in the darkness. Like there's a, how do you call this, matchbox? We take the match and we put like a friction, and then there's a fire. And then the upper fire connects to our lower fire. What would you like to say about that?
Eti,
Yes.
I would like to ask you, what do you understand about litahir? What is to purify?
The Bible says in the book of Exodus, when they're describing the standing in front of Mount Sinai before they get the 10 Commandments, there is a verse that says, Ke'etzem, one second, this description of the moment, Ke'etzem, the word that you mentioned yesterday in a conversation in Brazil, Ke'etzem,
Yes.
Hashamayim, Letohar. This is the description of the moment when the children of Israel stand in front of the mountain. Ke'etzem Hashamayim Letohar. What is Ke'etzem Hashamayim?
The essence of the heavens.
Yes,
It's pure.
yes, the essence of the heavens to purify. So when a person comes to purify, what does it mean? There's like he asked to ascend or transform. Litaher, Tohar. Tohar also, Tohar itself, to purify. What do we have here? 214. Like Ruach,
Yes, 240. Wow.
spirit. Because as you notice, Diletata is the last hay or Malchut. And he comes Litaher, as the Zohar says. Mesa'im lo, he is getting an assistance. So here you say Diletata, though it's with Aleph, it's basically the hay. So he comes to purify, he just make the first steps. He comes to purify, immediately he comes to purify. From the Daled to connect to the Yod of Yesod, and he gets assistant in spirit. Haba Litaher comes to purify, he gets an assistant. Assistance. A person can, just a little example, a person can sit at his home and mercy about himself, pity that he doesn't have any success in A, B, C, D, and nothing is going away as he wished or dreamed. But he can also, this is mochin de katnut, as you mentioned, like small-mindedness, and on this domain Pharaoh is governing. But if he has a bit of awakening, he just cut this thought and just put away and says, what can I do now? Find himself this peace to find out in the mind what he wish inside of himself to do, and then go for it. And then it's considered to him that he wants to go al Saknan. And immediately he gets an assistance. It is more
Amazing.
mental. It is more mental. It is because the spark within is spark. We don't see this. We cannot touch this. We cannot see this, but it is happening.
Eti,
Yes.
and I noticed that I forgot some parts on the resume that I made. But before this movement, we have the dead of Haran, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if it is possible to link the that maybe Haran is a mindset, is the one who connects with this Daluta, with this
Yes, yes, with the poverty.
with this yes, with this
Yes,
poverty.
yes. Haran is like Nahar, like a river, and in a way, we just see the river, not the source of the river. And if we look only at the manifested, but in a way, like Philip said last night, in our session yesterday, suddenly this river dries. It means Haran dies. This perspective is disappearing, and there's a need to go for something else, to the source of the origin. By the way, since you mentioned Haran, Luria says that Haran, those three letters, in a different order, gives us the name Aharon. In the name Aharon, the Moses' brother, we get a correction of Haran. Again, Aharon, Moses' brother, is a correction of Haran. And Moses is an aspect of Abraham. So they appear again as brothers, but few generations, 26 generations. 26, let me count. No, 26 generations after. So Haran and Abraham are brothers, and they will appear again as Moses and Aaron.
The name Zohar,
Amazing.
Yes. Yes,
where
please.
you were presenting in your presentation just
Yes.
before, the name Zohar sounds a lot like Terah that you
Very
used in the verse for Genesis.
excellent. Excellent.
He also is the father figure of all those mentioned in the verse.
Interesting.
I might
Terah.
also
Ye-
add.
Yes, very good. Terah. Terah, this is Abraham's father. And Tohar. I write with 1 second square letters. Tohar, this is purification. So Tet here, Tet and Tav have the same sound like T in English. T, T. And Resh are the same letters. And if we close here the Hey above, we get a Chet. And this is what the sages are saying. It's a very good comment. The sages are saying, how can we locate Terach inside of ourselves? Because this is not a historical story. Terach is from Tarach. Tarach here is to bother. So Terach inside of ourselves, the aspect of Terach, is always bothering, always making a lot of effort without arriving anywhere. So the sages read the name Terach, the father of Abraham, not with Tav, but with Tet, because it's the same sound, and it means to bother. So what is Terach inside of ourselves, the aspect of Terach? Bothering, working, arrive at no direction, no result, no connection. And Philon says something very interesting about it. He says that in spite of that we think that we sometimes bother or working towards a direction and see no result, in spite of all of those thoughts, the spark of Abraham is within us. And this is the meditation that I would like us to focus about, to see this verse. Vayikach Terach et Avram bno. This is Genesis 11:31. And Terach took Abram his son. Let's look at the verse and read it in one person, because the whole Torah can be read in one person. The Terach in us, the one who bothers and works and makes an effort, takes Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, the son of his son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, the wife of Abraham his son, and then Vayetzu, and then they went out, Itam. And I would like us to see Terach inside of us, Lot inside of us, Haran inside of us, Abraham and Sarai, and from all of those aspects in us, the aspect that will lead us to the promised land is Abraham and Sarai. Vayetzu itam, and from all of those aspects, Vayetzu itam, and came out with them. Itam, with them, with Sarai and Abraham, with the covenant, with the truth. That everyone will see inside of himself the one who bothers, who gets no results, the one who lives in Ur Casdim. Ur Casdim is that Ur is a fire in Hebrew. Or is a light, and Ur is a fire, very, very hot fire. And sometimes when our mind is very, very hot, we see things as demon. Casdim is keshedim, like demons, so demonize thinking. And we can see inside of ourselves, in the process of growing up, how we live those mindsets of Ur Casdim, of Terach, Lot, Haran, and from those aspects, suddenly Abraham and Sarai moving towards the land of Canaan. This is the aspect of us that will arrive to the promised land.
I suppose the bothering would be good.
Yes.
Sorry to cut in, but maybe before we veer too far away from it, that the resistances that you do end up experiencing just on your daily shape and mold your movement forward, and it creates the opportunities to develop. It tests you, and you see your flaws and strengths at the same time. So without these botherings, or what might appear negative at first, does turn out to propel you in any particular directions on what you can possibly do. It doesn't even have to be anything in particular, but your possibilities personally is an entire bag full of trajectories. So you don't get these opportunities to see these or encounter these to begin with without the bothering internally.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose the bothering is a blessing in disguise.
True.
So you were saying, sorry?
Again?
You're about to continue into another aspect, or continue further with this one?
Yes, I would like, because Venus was writing a question, where does Terach die city? Yes, Terach died in Haran. Yes. And this is why, in a way, Vayetzu itam, and they went out with them. Abraham and Sarai moved from Ur Casdim to Haran. In Haran, Terach remained sitting, Haran is not just a geographical realm, we shall speak about it. And Abram and Sarai continues from Haran to the land of Canaan. Yes. Now, there's another letter here of the Zohar which I would like to read with you. Do you would like to say something, Rodrigo, Fernando, friends, before we continue?
If
Just a coincidence.
Yes.
Please continue,
Yeah,
Rodrigo.
yeah.
no, go you. No, please go ahead, Fernando.
No, you can, please. It is quite nothing what I have to say. It's just that I wrote down two words while I was listening the explanation, the reading of Zohar. It was Taher and Aretza. I just wrote down, and while now Eti was speaking, I assume the two words and gives 510, that is Sarai. Like to move to purity, maybe is related with you were speaking about this covenant between Abraham and Sarai. It was just a coincidence, Eti,
Yes.
that came, but it was quite irrational. I just put these words, I don't know why, and when I sum up, it gives Sarai. The move to purity could be related with Sarai, maybe. But it is. Just this, Rodrigo, please continue.
May I say something, Eti? Sorry, I can't.
I cannot hear you. Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
1 second, Rodrigo.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Now I can, and I did not hear Fernando. He was saying one word is Taher, and what is the second? Do you hear Fernando?
Aretza.
Arza?
Hello, Eti, can you hear?
Yes,
Arza.
Arza.
Yes.
Arza Taher, and this is 510, like Sarai.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 second, excellent.
Yes.
1 second. Thank you. I did not hear before Sarai. Yes. The purification of the will. This is it. The purification of the will to
Yes.
benefit and bestow the virtue. Excellent, Sarai. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Rodrigo, now we can hear you.
Just to share, Etsy, I don't know if I'm right, but this word talaleita,
Yes.
I don't know if the word, the verb give birth or something like that is similar, taledit or something like that.
Yes, yes.
And so this wake up below would be called as how can I say, to give birth to Aleph Tav, to give birth the symbols or the letters or something like that. I just think in this, look in this word and just want to share. Came to my mind. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes, very good. Deletata, laledet, to give birth. Very good, to give birth to letters. Excellent.
Yes,
From
thank
Aleph
you
to
very
Tav
much.
and signs. Thank you so much. So let's continue with letter Yotet. This is Mark 19. Tav Chet. Again, yesterday we mentioned Tav Chet. Ta Chazi in Aramaic is Bo Ure'eh. Tav, Ta Chazi. It's like Et but opposite. Tav Aleph. Ta Chazi. Ta Chazi. Bo Ure'eh. Come and see. Now, whenever they say come and see, we have a higher and more inner perspective of the idea. Tachazi, Milad Ele'ela, come and see the word from above. And so, Shum davar milemala eino mit'orer. nothing from above is being awakened. מטרם שנתעורר תחילה מלמטה, before it is awakened in the beginning from below. על מה שעליו ישרה הדבר שלמעלה. About what that something from above will dwell. So, nothing from above is not awakened until it is awakened first from below. It has the awakening has to come from the below. Not just the below, it's also our below our lowest moment in life. Sometimes the lowest moment is the vessel for the next moment. This is also a lowest moment. Yes? So, before it is awakened in the beginning or at first from below. Because, alma, we need this awakening from below. For what? Alma she'alav, about what? That on it will dwell the thing from above. We have to have first the awakening of the below. If the lower aspect is not awakening, or even this moment it is lower, because there are many ways to express lower. Because lower is also what is, heavy. Heavy is lower and outside, and inner is spiritual and high. There are many things to take into consideration. Now, v'sod hadavar, and the secret of the word, or the secret of the thing, is or shachor shebanir, a black light that within a candle. Shehi sod, which is the secret. Shehi sod hanukba, meaning when we look at a candle, when the candle is burning, the flame of the candle has 4 different colors. One of the 4 colors of the flame is dark, shachor, black. So now he will explain us what is the awakening of the below. He will give us a picture. V'sod hadavar, and the secret of the word, or the secret of the thing, or shachor shebanir, black light in a candle. Shehi sod, shehu sod, which is a secret, hanukba, the black light of a candle. It's the secret of the nukba, of the last day that Fernando was mentioning before. Eina ne'echezet, it is not holding ba'or halavan shebanir, in the white light of a candle, shehu sod zer anpin, because there is also white light in the candle, and the white light is parallel to, or the secret of zer anpin, the vav. Miterem shehi mit'oreret tchila. Let's read it again. Let's play the whole sentence like a piece of music again. שום דבר מלמעלה, nothing from above, אינו מתעורר, is not awakened, מטרם שנתעורר תחילה מלמטה, before it is awakened in the beginning from below. על מה שעליו ישרה הדבר למעלה. Why do we need the awakening of the below? We need a vessel in which the upper spirit can dwell. In this case, he say hadavar. It's the spirit. V'sod hadavar, and the secret of the word, and the secret of the thing. He will explain this awakening and the relation between below and above by looking at the flame of a candle. V'sod hadavar, and the secret of the word, or shachor shebanir, black light that is in the candle, which is the black light in a candle, is the secret of the Nukba. And the Nukba cannot hold the white light of the candle before she is awakened at first. Since the Nukba, the black light, is awakened at first, miyad, immediately, shore alea or lavan, immediately dwell on her a white light, or the white light. Ki hatachton, because the below, mechuyav lehitorer tchila, because the below has to be awakened at first. Did we understand? Would you like to summarize it? Please, feel free.
If I may describe it in a alternative-ish aspect, it comes out a lot of a concept type of yin and yang. The whole is the entirety. That's the whole. Everything as one, unity, unified. But inside it shows separations where you have experiences that you do find positive, experiences you find negative. But the combination of both of them is where it gets you into the unified state, and they have to be balanced within each other. Too much of either one is no good, but to have mastered the balance inside you of both ends of it gets you the whole. Your dark side, your light side, unified.
True. Venus is writing, use animal spirit to know Hashem, maybe, yes. Joanne, so interesting and beautiful. Yes. Paul said that the natural must come before the spiritual. Yes. Like we learned last week with Rabbi Berachia, to set the table first. To set the table. True. Would you like to say something about it? Did you once meditate with the flame of a candle? Did you? Did you notice how does the flame rises in a candle?
Yes, it is a remarkable passage. It is a quite remarkable passage, and brings also the blessings, the ordinary blessings, and that is Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Hashem. It is first came the personal, first the greeting is to what is near.
Yes.
And
yes.
after is Melech Haolam, right?
Yes.
The impersonal and distant.
True. Yes. Questions or thoughts?
Eti,
Yes.
in this paragraph is mentioned the black light, the or, shahor, or something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
I understood that this refers to a flame of a candle, something like that, and I know that this black light stands in the below sustain the white light from a candle. So it's the
Yeah.
base. And but I don't know if you have something to explain this symbolical language that the Zohars use, because we have a black light and we have a white light in a candle, and I don't know what you think about the meaning of these two lights, one below and one above. And I understood that the first we have to, how can I say, to wake up below to light this black light before the white could be attached to this black. But if if I may, I would like to listen to you about these two lights, or Shahor and or Halavan.
I wish that all of us could light now a candle and look. First of all, there is a process in lighting candle, because immediately, even when we light a candle, it does not catch the fire or the spark immediately. It few moments are moving until it really catches and it holds the wick, so to speak. There's a beautiful article.
Sorry, I can't.
Eddie,
I can't listen. Yes, there is a beautiful article, and I missing.
Hello, hello. Can you hear? Hello.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
talk
Yes.
about a beautiful article, and then I lose
That
you.
explains the first spark before it catches the wick. There are many moments of a candle meditation, but I'll try to answer your question. And also Suzanne is writing about it on YouTube. There's a wick, the wick of the candle. There's a wax, so to speak, let's say, and there's a wick here, the thread. You know what wick is? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So the black light that the Zohar speaks here about, the black, is the spark of which is related to nefesh, and this one catches the wick, the thread, because we have the wick here, the thread. I'll try to color it here. 1 second. I will replace the coloration. I try to find here black to show what is here. And the first is like dark or black. This is what catches the exhausted. A car, when we, how do you say, you switch the key in the car, or when you turn on the car, at the back of the car there is exhaust. You say in English or Portuguese, the one after the engine is burning, at the back there is like exhaust, like burned energy. Hello, is there anybody hear me?
Exhaust fumes.
Yes. This is the back, in the back of the car. We want to go forward. Yes, you start the engine, you want to go forward, but there's like a process of burning in the car, in the engine, and at the back of the car there's exhaust, like sometimes the smoke with a dark color comes
Like
out.
black fumes, black smoke fumes.
Yes.
That are black in color.
Yes. So to go forward, the car needs to go forward, but at the back of the car there's a black smoke. In the same manner here, there's a wick of the candle. Light a candle. Make, whenever you have the time, make this meditate. Make, if you feel like it. It's not just an option. Nothing is. Try to meditate and see, when we light a candle, once the wick, the fire catches in the wick, around the wick, the light, the first light that catches the wick, the matter, because the wick is a matter, and the first light that catch it is black, is parallel to nefesh, like Fernando says, the nukba. And above the aura of the black light that catches the wicked matter, above it comes immediately the white light. This is their Anpin. Do we understand?
I appreciate
Yes.
what you're saying, Eti. It reminds me of before we can get to the purity, we have to find a way to release the waste. To go forward, we have to, if you will, release that which is not uh, helpful to us going forward. Or if you look at a husk of corn, there's a chaff that's on the outside. In order to get to the corn, you have to take off the outside container or the outside of the corn, which is the husk.
Yes. Yes. Something, what is it? Let's think about the speech. What is it aruta deletata, the awakening of the below? Let's try to review how many, and each and every one of us can introduce his awakening of the below. A dark moment, the current moment in the matter, which will bring us to the next moment. There are many, many ways to look at it aruta deletata. When a person suffers so much, we are not did not come to this life to suffer. Probably we're doing wrong things, but first we have to have a recognition.
When you say below, it's been mentioned that many times in these classes about the tree of life to be in the bottom below spheres and your upper separated spheres, where the upper always comes with the spiritual perspective and below in the material. So every time you're saying in the below, it's like you're acting with the material self.
Yes,
So anything that relates to the below, you're speaking about material.
yes, yes. When we sometimes stuck in a matter, we just do mechanical things. It's also a below. Below is also what comes in front or before the future. Because the present or the below of the moment is the next future. But the thing is that we have to be awakened in this below to understand that this moment does not exist separately. Each moment we are just living here separate moments. No, this moment is connected to the next. And in the moment when we are awaken in the moment, and we act, so this immediately brings assistance from above. A person eats his dinner. He's, I had this and this day. I was not happy to sit, feeling pity about himself and so on. But he goes to the radio, start a bit of music, try to sit alone, and then he just does something. He just this little action, music with something, and then he's how do you say? A get cheered spirit. His spirit is happy, and then he has a mood to write to a friend, to communicate. So it starts in a matter, but there are many, many steps and bridges on the way. But to go for something, not to see doom and gloom. People of Casdim, this is many people live in this. This is not a historical story. Casdim is a place in the mind or a certain mindset in which people sit and imagine things, and they think this is what there is. I mean, the mind captures a certain picture of reality It is like demon, Casdim or Casdim, like this is what they think, this is what they derivative, they have this cutting. They took a sample from life in the morning and this is life. No. They refuse to learn, they refuse to go forward. Statica. This is all Casdim, and they know everything. They know everything. And from this perspective, Abraham and Sarai are moving out. We don't know everything.
I remember that once you said that Abraham is the spirit of the one who of the student, of the apprentice.
Yes, he's the eternal student, Philon says. Nothing limits him. Always the next moment. Oh, this is why Abraham is the only person that the Torah writes about him. Avraham Ohavi. Abraham who loves me. This is the speech of God. This is the only one that the Torah is writing. Avraham Ohavi. He always goes forward. Always. Never gets stuck. Yes.
And I was looking at this word. I think that Rodrigo already spoke something about this daluta that we relate with Malchut, with the one who is poor. And I was making a contrast with when Moses is leaving Egypt, he is taking the bones of Joseph, Etzem Yosef, right? And you said that was the essence of the symbols, Etzem Ot, right?
Yes.
And I am looking at Daluta and thinking that could be also the opposite direction. It is the one who do not have symbols, the Dal Ot.
Yes.
Because even in poor people, when we see, and I'm not talking in a way to blame someone, but here in our country, when we see the people that pass difficulty, and we have a lot of inequality here in our country, unfortunately, the poor people are have they lack words. Let's say it is like me talking in English. Their vocabulary is too limited. They only know very few words, and they know almost nothing about symbols. And I am just wondering here that the one who has this Etzem Yosef, this other, that is the contrast, because it is like the Jacob who has Yesod, who has it all, has this new language that is to look things in a different way, in a symbolic perspective. It is like read the Bible only in the Pshat, only in the, and even with a poor translation, it is one thing. Another is reading like we are reading the book of Zohar and making the symbolic relation is too much rich. It's rich, we have richness because we are always learning, we are discovering. I don't know. I'm just putting the contrast to put some ideas about this. To awake the poor is to live the literal, maybe.
It seemed like a very negative aspect to go about it right after Eddie describes that the negative views come from specific characteristics themselves.
I'm listening to what you're saying, Fernando, and what Eti's saying, and what I'm thinking about is that, first of all, this idea that there's just one moment in time, that every moment is connected to the next moment. So in that sense, we're always becoming, and we always have the potential to be more than what we are in this given moment. The other thing I was thinking about, Fernando, is you talked about the poor in Brazil and their limited vocabulary. I think to be a student, to be a learner, there's a paradox which is I find to be interesting. That is, the more we learn, the more we know, the more we realize we don't know, the more we realize we still
Yes,
need to learn. It's interesting.
I find a lot of those who graduate from
indeed.
universities tend to say that the more they do learn about their subject, the more they realize they don't understand. And for them to be the ones that the society would deem professional, you could take their word for perspective.
Thank you so much. And yes, Fernando, it is interesting that you brought Atzmot Yosef against this Deletata, the awakening from below, which doesn't have the access to words, to symbols. This is a very, very interesting picture. Because Deletata comes from Dalet, and Deletata comes from the letter Dalet. The Dalet does not have yet the covenant in it. Just Aniyavadala, poor and miserable, and doesn't have the letter, doesn't have the symbol or the essence of Atzmot Yosef. What is Atzmot Yosef?
The
So
essence of Yosef, the
and
essence.
the essence of Joseph. Yosef is Yesod, parallel to Yesod, and the essence of Joseph is the Yod, the covenant between heaven and earth. This is it. And now she will not be poor. Now she will be heavenly kingdom because she had the essence of Joseph. Also, the essence of Joseph is, as we say, this is the Yod, the covenant, but also the Sod. The secret is the essence of Joseph. So, Itaruta Deletata, the awakening of the below, because there is nothing illuminates there. And this is why in the candle we see it as a black light. There is no spark of a secret, there is no letter, there is no sign, nothing. The essence of Joseph, Atzmot Yosef, Etzem Ot, yes, every letter is the essence. Like we read about the name Tzevaot, Ot, letter, Batzava Shelo, in his army, Tzevaot, in this case Atzamot. Atzmot Yosef, the essence of Joseph, is the secret, is the dream, is the Yod, the covenant that connects heaven and earth, time and eternity. With the essence of Joseph, Moses leaves Egypt.
Etty,
Yes? Hello?
I have a question
Yes.
for you that might be very mind-bending, let's say. Do you believe that it's possible for one to achieve these entire states without the use of going through using a Bible as a guide?
Again, can you ask your question again?
Yeah, sure. Do you believe that it's possible for a person to achieve higher states, let's say, the ones that we speak of to be moving forward, that it's possible to be able to achieve these without using the guide of a Bible?
What do you think, Fernando?
ATI, I'm curious to listen to your answer.
If I understood, I'm not sure that I understood. If a person with the Bible can go through those situations, this is what. Did I understand well?
That's okay. Let me bring this question up another time.
Okay. Just to say one thing, I'm not
That's fine.
sure. I'm not sure that I understood well, but the sages are saying that
No biggie.
the whole, the whole Bible from Bereshit, which starts with the letter Bet until the letter Lamed, to the eyes of Israel, Le'nei Kol Israel. All of us as humans are starting with the first letter of Bereshit, and we end with the letter Lamed. Each and every baby which is being born here in space and time moves in his life all the letters and all the names which are mentioned in the 5 books of Moses. This is how the sages are saying it. This is why everyone who opens the Bible can immediately see a mirror, because the Bible is a spiritual mirror of ourselves. Yes.
Would you like to describe the last paragraph that you have on the concept board today?
This is another lesson, because now he moves to Psalms. I can just summarize us, and this is why. ועל דרך זה, if you have 2 more minutes, I try to summarize it. ועל דרך זה כתיב, this is why it's written, here a quote from the book of Psalms, never be quiet, meaning never stop speak to the higher, because that never, when we speak, he creates a parallel picture between our speech and the light which comes from above, because we don't see this, because we don't see the words that are coming from our mouths. So, and this is why it is written. Do you have another moment to read Psalms? This is the question.
Yes, of course, yes.
So,
it's 2:00 in the morning here in Australia, but I'll be happy to hang around for it.
Okay. Would you like to read Psalms 83?
I can if you like.
Yes.
O God, keep not thou silence, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
Thank you. And in Hebrew, Elohim al domilach al techerash, ve'al tishkot el. Let's see what he says here in the Zohar. And upon this it is being written, God, do not be quiet or silence. Why? Because the world will never stop the white light from the world, from the universe. Because, and he explained, because the Bible say here in Psalms, Elohim, al domilach. Elohim, never be silent. Why? Because the white light will never stop from the world. Now he explained why God should not be silent. Because Elohim, the name Elohim, as we learned, the manifested 86, it is the secret of the Nukba, the feminine, the last hay of the Tetragrammaton. Shehi Sod, which is the secret, Nehora Ukma. Nehora in Aramaic is or is light. Ukma, dark, black. Because the Nukba, it is the secret of black or dark light. ואם לא תחרוש ולא תשקוט מלהתעורר למטה, and if she will not be silent, or how do you say, and if she will not be silent, or another word for to stop speaking from below, the white light will always hold from above. Do we understand that?
This seems, Etty, like a reflection of the Genesis, the first 3 verses of Genesis, because the darkness was upon the face of the earth, and then God said, "Let there be light." And just I would want to respond to the gentleman from Australia. I forget his name, Philippe.
Yes, Philippe.
Um, yeah, the from the beginning, God has spoken both through the words, the Bible, if you will, but also through all of creation. God continues to speak through that way as well. This scripture says, "Heaven and earth are filled with God's glory."
Yes, this is why Elohim, the manifested, like Fernando was saying, people have no words or vocabulary. So don't stop speaking, because we don't see the speech. We don't see the speech. But on every word that we pronounce now, it does not matter in which language, every word which is manifested immediately withdraw a white light above, because the letters that are coming from our mouths, which are creating a word, the letters are the body, is the nefesh. Like the letters on the white page, they are dark, they are black letters. This is, so to speak, the nukba, like the black light. And now here on the page we can see there's a dark letter, so to speak, this is the nukba, and around the dark letter, the black letter, there is a white background, and then we have a unification between Zer Anpin and Malchut. The white light here is the Vav, here. This is the white light, the background, and the letters are the secret of the Hay, the Nukba. And we are able, our ability to read the letters comes from the marriage between the background, the white background, and the darkness of the letters. The marriage between them, the heaven and earth, creates a communication to us. And for this reason, Elohim al domilach, God, don't never be silent, because once the words stop playing the music, we stop the upper light, because the upper light look for a vessel to dwell, and our words are vessels. And when we stop our speaking, the upper light cannot arrive, like Bala Sulam says, Or Elyon lo posek. Or Elyon, this is what, please remember this. Whenever you have a moment, please remember this, it always helps. Or Elyon, the upper light, Eino posek, never stops. Never stops.
Wow.
Never. So whenever we speak, the word is a vessel. Teiva is like a boat. Yes. And the upper light is like the sail. So the word is like a boat, and the upper light is like the sail. Brings the spirit, the Vav, and then we can sail.
E.T.,
Yes. Yes.
this is amazing, and maybe this is the reason why when we start to be active, more and more insights make us more active. Like sometimes we could say that we are like candles, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
and this light consume us, consume
Yes.
our body, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to
And when you
add.
put in a journey, it is like many doors are opening and you cannot stop. It always comes something new, and I don't know. I'm just sharing it.
Thank you so
I
much.
wanted to add to what you said really quickly. I know we need to leave in a moment. But what I find interesting is that light travels faster than sound.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yes. The upper light is always ready. Never stops. We are the slower part of the of the process. So it is always recommended.
Exactly.
Yes?
Exactly.
Not to fall into depression. Always do something, make something, write something, listen to music, or just do not to get static. Because once we go for something, immediately there's the upper light comes and escort us. So always have hope, because there's only joy. The only thing that makes our life sometimes dark is our perspective. If our perspective is not clear, so we feel darkness and heaviness, but everything is right. And always communicate. Yes, yes, Shelton?
And just a final comment, and based on what you said, it reminds me, only light has the capacity to disperse the darkness.
Yes. Yes. It's correct.
Amazing. Thank you, Shelton and Philip and Etty and Fernando for sharing this. Etty, I have just one comment, if I may.
Yes, sure.
I noticed that the Zohar in this paragraph quotes two verses from the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
Psalms chapter 83, verse 2, and Isaiah chapter 62, verse 6.
Yes.
And in these two verses, a very similar phrase appears. Al domi lahe. And in Isaiah, al domi lahen. Just a mem, final mem, but it's the same phrase. Al domi lahen and al domi lahe. And I just wondering at what's the meaning. Even a translate of this phrase that's not so clear to me. And what is the meaning of this phrase, the hidden meaning also? If you say something, I don't want to disturb you, but
I can write it
just,
on yes, and I can write it on Discord again. Isaiah, what is it? What chapter?
Chapter 62, verse 6. It's a quote from this paragraph in the Zohar. Isaiah chapter 62, verse 6, and Psalms 83 that Philip read to us in Hebrew, Al Domi Lahen.
Yes.
Aleph Lamed, Dalet Mem Yod, and Lamed Af.
Yes.
And in Isaiah we have a mem, a final mem.
Yes.
In a plural form.
True.
I don't know. Oh, just caught my attention, and I just to understand this expression, because appears in both verse.
So I'll write you an answer on Discord later this evening.
Thank you very much, Etty. I don't
want
to boring you and to
disturb.
No,
it's not boring or disturbing at all. This is life. So thank you so much for being with us today. Good evening and beautiful life.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Thank you. Shalom, shalom. Bye-bye.